Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Lots to discuss this morning. Potential swap deals for Paul Pogba. Also updates on Varane, Ramos, Sancho, Dan James potentially leaving the club as well. We'll be talking about that. Dalot coming back to the club and a few other interesting things as well. But some quite exciting news, this morning, I would say, that Manchester United have announced some pre-season friendlies. Now, I think this is official. I've seen it on an account at Vichy_United that Manchester United official have announced 4 pre-season friendly matches in preparation for the new season. Of course, you know, the old traditional pre-season tours of India and, we never got to do India. That was meant to be last summer. Australia, Asia, America. Those are the tours we really want to see. We're not going to see that this summer, obviously, because of all the COVID restrictions. But the fixtures that are apparently official are Derby County on the 18th of July, which is a Sunday. QPR on the 24th of July. Brentford on the 28th of July. And then Everton on the 7th of August. I think there will be more games than that, but there are 4 there. QPR, Derby, Brentford and Everton. I don't know. I presume they'll be on MUTV. I don't know why they wouldn't be. But Manchester United have announced a few pre-season friendlies there. All of them obviously are going to be based in the UK. But let's get on with the show. Just want to say that Paul Pogba is the story that we're going to start off with. Although I just want to start off with Raphael Varane. Take it with a pinch of salt if you want to. Take it. I certainly am. There is growing feeling and confidence that we're going to get Varane. Behind the scenes, people who have information, etc., they are starting to say, and also from Spain as well. But I don't trust information from Spain. I think it's fine, reliability, but I mean, are they just... Real Madrid very much work in the press for their own benefit. That's how they do it. They almost have control of certain outlets and they do it for their own benefit. So they'll talk about a player leaving to generate panic and then the player is actually going to stay. It's almost like they manipulate their own players through the press. So I still wouldn't be surprised if Varane signed the new contract. He has been linked to PSG. There is a story from Marca, which is definitely a Madrid outlet, that PSG have inquired about Varane. But remember the story from yesterday. Sergio Ramos has had an offer from PSG that exceeds any other offer. And if that falls through, then maybe he could come to the Premier League. But it's looking like Ramos is going to go to PSG because he's not going to stay at Real Madrid. So if PSG get Ramos and then they go for Varane, what are you going to do with Marquinhos and Kimpembe? So, I think that there is hope with Manchester United and Varane. My only fear is that this is a hard deal to do. It really is. And I think that I still think he could end up staying at Real Madrid, which brings me into the headline, Pogba swap possible. Speaking to a couple of people over the last couple of weeks about the Pogba situation, and the reality is that this story about £500,000, it's a load of nonsense. There's no offer from United for €500,000. There's no offer from United actually at all to Paul Pogba at the moment because he won't entertain it. They've not sat down. Riola, Manchester United, Pogba, they've not sat down. There will be a willingness from Manchester United to make a big offer. They'd love to keep Paul Pogba at the club. But also, if Pogba's not going to sign a new deal or they can't get him to sign a new deal, then Manchester United have got to look at ways to not allow him to walk out the door. Now, transfers aside, the most important thing is Manchester United playing football matches. And I can't imagine Manchester United without Paul Pogba next season and then not replacing him. So you can talk about swap deals, and Ronaldo and Varane are 2 very obvious options, but they will not fill the void of losing Paul Pogba in the midfield. And I worry next season what happens to Bruno Fernandes if you don't have Paul Pogba in your team, because we've seen it. We've seen what teams do to Bruno Fernandes when Pogba's not in the team. We saw what happened to Pogba when he didn't have Bruno in the team. They know that those 2 players are the genius, they are the creativity, and you swamp them 2 players. But when you get those 2 players in the same team, it's very hard to swamp them both. So if we lose Pogba, what does that mean for United and what does that mean for Bruno? Because we could swap him for a centre-back and we could swap him for a striker, but he's a midfielder and he's a creative midfielder wherever he plays. So the loss of Paul Pogba to me is very, very worrying. But if Ollie's given his perfect squad, do you think he has the capabilities as a manager to win the league? I still have massive doubts over his ability, says Joshua Bowwater. I think we all do. Have you seen reports on signing Alua Dieng, African CDM? Gwydion, I will speak to you about that story. I think it's a load of nonsense, but we have been linked to a centre defensive midfielder. Yes, I'll speak about in a minute. But anyway, let's carry on with this story. So this is not even sensationalist. This is not even, oh my God, it's paper. Well, it is paper talk in a sense, but it's well known Juventus want to move Ronaldo on and they love Paul Pogba. So that swap deal is there to be done. Also, Real Madrid, if they're going to lose Varane, would like to swap for Paul Pogba. The issue here is Paul Pogba sat at the Euros having the time of his life with France. He loves being with his French teammates and he's not thinking about what's going to happen afterwards. Because in Paul Pogba's mind, and this is what I was told 2 weeks ago, Paul Pogba's mind, by somebody very close to Riola and Pogba and these types of deals, so you can probably figure out who. 2 weeks ago I was told Paul Pogba is sat there enjoying the Euros, knowing that now is not the time to start talking about Juventus or Real Madrid or a new deal with United. That doesn't mean that Mino Raiola isn't, inquiring, but there is no commitment from Paul Pogba at the moment because he feels it would be stupid to do that. He has potentially got, 5 more games to play for France, which could culminate with him lifting the Euros. So, and as Pogba goes through this tournament, and as people are aware that he's available in a year, Paul Pogba's stock will rise. And all Pogba wants to do, and I don't blame him for this, is get to the end of the Euros, focused on the Euros, and then sit down and go, what are my options? He is not sat there at the moment with a calculator figuring out how much 500 grand a week is when tax is off. He's not interested in that. He's focused on the Euros. Manchester United are focused on Pogba. People are focused on Pogba. PSG like Pogba. But look, a swap for Ronaldo is possible. A swap for Varane is possible. And anybody who thinks that's just FIFA talk, it is possible. Juventus will do it. Real Madrid will probably do it if they can't get Varane to sign a new contract. And PSG quite like Pogba for financial reasons. They'll just pay for him. And United want him to get a signed new contract. This is going to happen with Pogba, but it's not going to happen until, maybe 5-6 weeks, a month's time, when he's out of the Euros and he comes back. And it will happen very quickly in the back arse of July. But don't write anything off. And certainly do not take any notice of Pogba signing £500,000 contracts. He's not going to do that. They are going to speak to options. They're going to see what their options are. I know he's got 1 year left on his contract, but he may as well be a free agent because 1 year is nothing. Something has to happen this summer. New contract, swap deal or transfer. Something will happen in July and Pogba is very much in control, but at the moment he is sat there going, well look, I'm playing in the Euros, I'm having the time of my life, and also, why would I make a commitment now? Why would you make a commitment? It's like picking it's like choosing your dessert halfway through your starter. You've still got half a starter and a main meal, and after that, you might fancy a palate cleansing lemon cheesecake, or he might just go big style and have a chocolate brownie, or maybe he'll just have a coffee and a biscuit. But at the moment, there's no point in him choosing what he's going to do for his dessert. And look, the dessert. This is the dessert of Paul Pogba's career. He's coming to the back end. He's had the starter when he was a young lad. He's gone through the main meal. And I think now he's going into the dessert of his career. And he needs to pick the right one. And that's what he will do. Varane swap with Pogba makes us weaker. It's as simple as that. Unless we have Grealish lined up as a replacement, we should never do that deal, says Ben Anderson. I mean, look, just before we move on, because I want to talk about Dan James leaving and a few other things. Before I move on from that, let me just say that to you, Ben, and anybody else, I don't disagree with what you're saying there. But if Varane, if Paul Pogba comes back and says, I'm leaving, and that's it, and United can't get a buyer, and Real Madrid want him, and United go, well, look, we either let him stay for a year and he goes for nothing, and in his final year he's not going to be committed because he's not going to want to pick up injuries, or we swap him for Varane. I mean, a Pogba for Varane is better than Pogba walking out the door for nothing, isn't it? And I think that's the point there. Swapba. Yeah, we could do that. Why don't we use Donny instead of Paul Pogba, says Joe. Look, whatever you think about Van der Beek, and I do like Van der Beek, Paul Pogba needs to be replaced. I don't think Donny should be the replacement per se, but we do. We need more than that. I think we need to bring a player in. We need a CDM. A CDM would allow us to use Donny more, to be fair. But look, knowing United, you buy Sancho, you get Varane, you sell Pogba, you don't buy a midfielder. So you're stronger on the wing, you're stronger at the back, and you're weak in your midfield. That would be typical United, wouldn't it, to be honest with you? Just while I remember as well, United stand picks, links in the video description. Massive game tonight, England. Hopefully we'll see Luke Shaw, maybe even Harry Maguire, maybe Rashford will start. England against Czech Republic, 8 o'clock kickoff tonight. I'm doing a watch along on That's Football, of course, but we are doing United stand picks, and it's a massive £1,000 cash prize giveaway on United stand picks. If you've downloaded it before, you may as well play it because it's free to play, remember. You've got to be over 18 because we're giving away £1,000 cash prize pot. Links in the video description. Obviously over 18, terms and conditions apply. 12 questions to do with the game tonight. One of them is, will Harry Kane score? So if you get that right, you get a point. There's a live leaderboard as soon as kickoff kicks off, so you can see how you're doing in relation to your answers. And if you're at the top of that leaderboard at the end of full time, then you will be getting a share of that £1,000 cash prize pot. So it's free to play. You must be over 18. Links in the video description. If you've already downloaded it, get your questions in now while you think about it, and then you've entered. Simple as that. United stand picks, link in the video description. Anyway, let's talk about Dan James first. We've spoken about Varane, we've spoken about Pogba, a few stories still to talk about. In fact, let's just talk very, very quickly about the Sancho story. This is coming from Build. Look, Sancho's story is, I think, quite boring at the moment. But yeah, Grealish does have to start quick clips. But the Sancho story at the moment from Bild, which is the German outlet, they're saying that Manchester United, that Borussia Dortmund are still waiting on a follow-up bid from Manchester United. And all I want to say about this is, you got played. You got played, bro. You got played. You got played. You got played. You got played, bro. You got played. You got played. You did. You got played. I told you this would probably happen. I wanted to be wrong, but when the transfer window closed and when the transfer window opened and the season ended and people were saying, I'd want to get this deal done before the Euros, or this deal's going to happen before the Euros, do you not feel a little bit pissed off? Do you not feel a little bit frustrated? Because I was sat there going, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense that United can spend all summer last summer messing up a deal, and then the transfer window opens and it's like, bang, we've got it done. And you've got people saying, look, I've got a good source. I'm telling you, they're saying this is going to happen before the Euros. In the next few hours, in the next 24 hours, it's so close you can almost, the blue tick brigade, it's so close you can always taste it. It's like imminent. I remember, I said close. We're not close. We are not. How can you be close when 2.5 weeks later we're still not close? You got played. The Glazers played everybody. Basically extinguished the Glazer out fire by telling a load of nonsense. Spin that wheel. Gonna make you feel. Yo, DJ, spin that wheel. They've spun. Absolutely spun. Well done, Neil Ashton and co. You've done a cracking job again. Spin. Because, this deal is not close. It's just not close. It's not happening. It's not going to happen today, tomorrow, the day after, before the weekend. Imagine if United are now. Get it done on Friday to make him look an idiot. I mean, look, there's an outside chance of Thursday, Friday, because Thursday, Friday, there's no Euros game. But this, even if it happens Thursday, Friday, we're on the 22nd of June. We've got a new kit coming out in 9 days. 9 days, a week and a half, it's the 1st of July, it's team viewer time. You know what's happening. But the fact that they have absolutely owned this fan base by making them think, basically using a whole month to have people on the edge. It's any time in the next 10 minutes. Any time in the next 10 minutes, yeah. Through the whole of June. Got played. Absolutely played. That's just the way it is. What's the pre-season fixtures? Brentford, QPR, Everton and Derby. Yeah, simple as that, definitely. Mohammed, I'm just going to block you. Goodbye. That's your shout out that you wanted. I'm sure you heard that. Totally called it, Mark, says Carlton. Well, I don't want to call it. I just think we were getting played from the start. It never made any sense to me when you've got a new kit coming out that your marquee signing wouldn't do that. The thing that frustrates me is that not that they played the fans. I think that's frustrating. Just the fact that they've done what they've always done. I mean, I've heard people saying, "Oh, Richard Murta is going to do a great job as the director of football." Nothing has changed. This club has done the same thing it's done for the last few years. Slow, inefficient transfer business. Doesn't mean we won't have a good transfer window, but it brings on to the next thing. Dalot has apparently been... Manchester Evening News is saying that Diogo Dalot has been told that he's not going to be going on loan to AC Milan. He's to report back to pre-season training. Now, that will please some people, but what if he's coming back just for us to have another look at him? Like, where's the decisiveness? Like, you know, Lingard's coming back for us to have a look at him. Dalot's coming back to have a look at him. Are we going to bring Andres Pereira back as well? Why have we not made decisions on these players that have been at this club for years? Why are we having another look at them? Why are we bringing them back? You know, United, ever since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, United have, under numerous managers, United have had this issue with removing the deadwood. And again, it looks like we're going to be wasting more time with this. And I think that, you know, it is difficult in that sense to move forward when, you know, basically most of June has been lost already, hasn't it? It has. So, you know, Tag says we're going to have a closer look. How closer than close? Yeah, we're going to have a closer look. Spot on regarding Pogba. It's embarrassing how many players have and could possibly leave the club for free. The Glazers aren't very good at business, are they? Says Jamie. And can't United trigger the option for Pogba? Says Nye Desmond. We've already done that, mate. The 1 year option was from last year, so we're out of options. There is no there. Abhijit says that Dalot is not bad. No, he's not bad, mate. But why are we having another look at him? You know, I thought we were going for Trippier. And out of, where's this coming from with Trippier? Marca as well, saying this morning that it would take 30 million plus to get Kieran Trippier. And I just wonder about this, because what I've always been told about the Trippier deal is that, and to me, I think the Trippier deal's a good deal. 15 million quid, Trippier comes in, like Tellez came in, Luke Shaw got a boost, Wan-Bissaka gets a boost from the competition. We've got good balance on both sides with two good right backs. We play a lot of football. And you know why we need two good fullbacks? Because we play our fullbacks do a lot of running. So you do need two. Trippier has been linked to United for quite a long time. At least 9 months. Yet we get to the summer and we clearly had no idea what the fee was going to be. It's always been around 15 million, and that's what United thought they would get him for. And Atletico Madrid have said 30 million plus. So United's scouting of this whole deal is flawed again, because they've done all this work on this deal in relation to, yeah, he's the right one, the player wants to come, this, that and the other. And Atletico Madrid have gone, yeah, that's great, well done for all that work. You're going to pay 30 million for it. And United are what? But we really want him for 15, you're going to pay 30. So it's another deal that we're going to be negotiating on. I mean, basically, Atletico Madrid are the Spanish Dortmund, aren't they? They're going to go, you know what, you can have him, but you can overpay. So, yeah, it's nothing's changed, Advath. Nothing does seem to change. Anish says that Juventus are going for Locatelli. I told you that. I said that last week. People were talking about Locatelli. I said that he's going to go to Juventus. So, you know, I don't like that, but, you know, that's the way it is. Brian says he's tired of all these confusions under the Glazers. The Glazers have promised lots of things. When are they fixing the stadium? When are they sorting out the facilities? Have they fixed the swimming pool yet? When are they going to sign any players? You know, when are they going to get competent people in to run the bloody club? You know, questions. What's this share thing that they're going to do? How many shares are they going to give up? You know, it's all delay tactics, because if you delay long enough, then, you know, it's like being in a restaurant, isn't it? You know, you go to McDonald's or something like that, and you know, your fries are cold and you're waiting for them, and whilst you're waiting for them, you're eating your burger and they just don't come out with the fries at all. It gets to a point where you're just like, oh, sod this, I'm going home. Or if you do get your fries, it's too late anyway. United are just using delaying tactics here. Hakimi's going to PSG, says Daniel Garrett, so that's a good signing for them as well. I think PSG are going to go all out to try and win the Champions League. I wouldn't be surprised if PSG made a cash move for Paul Pogba, to be honest with you. He would be a massive signing for them. French, you know, absolutely massive. So, yeah, I really do think that... look, if Man United keep Pogba, I hope they do it in the right way. But I think it's going to be difficult. Real Madrid want to sell Varane if he doesn't renew. This is from a very reliable source. Real Madrid want to sell Varane if he doesn't renew, as they know most of their money from transfer sales would come through him. But his move is to run down his contract and get a bigger transfer bonus next season. That's from at Carpio Marca. You know what? I think that's a great point. A really great point. There are massive similarities between Lingard, Varane. I think Mbappe might be in the same situation, and Pogba. All have got a year left on their contract, and everyone's going, oh, they're going to move, they're going to move. Varane's been at Real Madrid for a long, long time. I'm sure it's not a hardship for him to stay there for another year like Ramos did and just run his contract down. Pogba, Manchester United, the same. He's been here for years. Is it a real hardship for him to stay and run his contract down? You don't realise the money these players are going to make by staying another year, because suddenly, instead of Real Madrid saying we want to sell you and we want 40 million for you, well, look, if Man United want Varane, they've got to pay 40 million for him to Real Madrid, and then they've got to pay him 300 grand a week in wages. In a year's time, that 40 million doesn't go to Madrid. So Rafael Varane says, look, you're not paying any transfer fee for me. You know that 300k a week? I want 450k, because you're still saving loads of money on the transfer fee. The player makes the money. The signing on fee is bigger. The agent fee is bigger. So look, these players could easily just stay where they are. And that was my fear with Varane anyway. One thing we differently know is that we know only thing we do differently now is that we now bid with knowing it will get accepted. Remember when we never used to bid until we were sure, says Gunjon. I mean, I'm not convinced about that, to be honest. I don't think that that's necessarily how United do work. Let me just talk to you about Dan James, by the way. I saw an article today, it may have been the Manchester Evening News, about a Dan James loan. There's nothing solidified around this, but I wanted to sort of bring it in because obviously we've got people like Delot and Pereira and Mata and Matic and Lingard, but Dan James is a player that never gets added to the list that could get sold. And I'm interested to know what you would do with Dan James, because to be honest with you, if we got 20 million for him, I'd sell him this summer. Meet, says Prince. I would. I'd sell him this summer. There's no future for Dan James at Manchester United. I think he's a very interesting player, but he's not a Manchester United player. He's not a Chelsea player. He's not a Liverpool player. He's not a Spurs player. He's not a Man City player. I think he's a player that's limit is probably 8th in the Premier League. Maybe Arsenal. But the point is, I think people take this as an offence. Like there are hundreds of footballers that are not top 4 players that earn very good money and have good careers. Like, most of the Southampton squad won't play top 4 football. So, is it offensive? Man United took a punt on a player for 15 million quid. He's not that standard. Doesn't mean he's not a Welsh international. Doesn't mean he can't play in the Premier League. So this is sort of watered down version of the Jesse Lingard scenario. Are you staying at United because you're backing yourself to be a United first teamer, and that's probably never going to happen, or do you want to have a good career? And I think if I'm Dan James, look, maybe he's very happy at United sitting on the bench, but you see him for Wales, he looks happy, he looks liberated. That's never going to happen at United. You don't suit the way United play football. United have to play against low blocks. United have to, be quite intricate. We don't just have this opportunity very often for a player to put their head down, sprint past someone and get a shot or a crossing. So I think Dan James does need to move on. I mean, look, as I said, ideally I'd like to see somebody come in like Leeds and give us 20 million, because that 20 million could be used quite comfortably. And I don't ever think there's a future for Dan James. But maybe the middle ground is to send him on loan for a year and then he does well and then he goes, because I don't ever see him having a future at United. So ultimately it can be a quick goodbye or it can be a long goodbye, and I don't mind whether it's a loan or a sale, and I'd wish him all the best. I think I do think there's a player there, it's just not a top 4 player. But I don't want to get stuck into this Andreas Pereira situation where it's like, it's this elongated goodbye where they never really let go and they never really establish themselves on loan. I do think Dan James should be moving out. They don't want to remove Deadwood because they want maximum transfer sum back. That's why they gave out new stupid contracts. The board is unrealistic, says Tabras. I'm going to sneeze. I know I am. That was good. Oh yeah. That was good. If Sancho was always our target, why the hell did he spend 35 million on Diallo? Says Abhijit. Well, don't forget Palestri as well. I do think that we got a little bit desperate there. I think I always felt that Diallo and Pellistri were panic buys. Dan James is better as a winger than Aaron Wan-Bissaka is as a right back. Aaron Wan-Bissaka cost more and he won over the Passion Merchant fans with his slide tackling out from corners, says Andre. No, I disagree. I think there's a future for Wan-Bissaka at Manchester United. I think Dan James, the way he plays football, he doesn't suit Manchester United. Please smash a like on the video. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes while we're live. Now, this is quite an interesting story. I'm going to bring it in. A couple of other things to talk about, but I want to bring you this in. Now, this is from the Twitter account MUFCMPB. You might have seen it last night. I would say take a huge pinch of salt with this, but let me just read you the story. Manchester United scouts are waiting for confirmation to travel to Egypt and watch Al Ahly defensive midfielder Aloia Dieng, who's 23, when he faces Tunisia in the Champions League semi-final second leg on... sorry, not Tunisia, ES Tunis in the Champions League semi-final second leg on Saturday. I mean, look, it's so out there. There could be something in it. It could be it could be an absolute load of nonsense. But the fact that we're linked to a centre defensive midfielder is probably quite encouraging, I suppose. But I don't know that. I mean, Shearer says, I read that story, I don't know what's about it. I mean, Brian, people are laughing in the live comments. I don't know anything about him. I don't think anybody does know anything about him. All I heard is from some people who have seen him play that he's a bit of a beast in the midfield. Look, I don't know. I don't know. But the fact that it's a CDM, and if it does happen, we can shout out that Twitter account and we can say we mentioned it on the show. But I don't see anything happening with that. Omar says he's good. I watch him from Egypt. I mean, look, to be honest with you, Stego says he's a tank. Beast from the Middle East, says Rebel Red. The reality is, if you were even going to buy a player like that, he's not going to come into the midfield and play straight away, is he? I mean, in a way, I hope there's nothing in it, because if Ollie got hold of someone like that, it would be, Kaneki, we've got to take 10 years to let him adapt to Premier League football. We need a CDM to come straight into our team, and he's not going to be that player, is he? But look, you never know. You never know how things could work out. It could. You just don't know. No idea who the lad is. No, got no idea either. Somebody just said it sounds like an Agallo situation. Well, I think everybody knew who Agallo was. So I don't think it is a similar situation to what happened with Agallo. But, I think that I'd love United to go in for a centre defensive midfielder. I've said this so many times. It would be my priority position. And I do worry. I know it's been mentioned before, and I think realism is very important. And as I said, there is optimism around Manchester United. We spoke about this yesterday morning. There is definite optimism around Manchester United that they can get some deals done. But time will be the enemy here. Time will be the enemy because the season starts around the middle of August. The Euros finishes around the start to middle of July. Players will go on holiday, and I think July will be big for Manchester United. How big, I don't know. I think the Sancho deal will get done, the Pogba thing will get decided, and we will bring in a centre back, and those three things will happen. Will there be time to get a centre defensive midfielder? Will we resolve the De Gea Henderson thing? Will we retain and hand a contract? I mean, I really do think Juan Mata's going to get a new contract, and therefore maybe Matic is going to stay as well. I mean, that's not solving a problem. I just think when you finish second in the league, you've got to go, well, with a first place loser. What do we need to do to get close to Man City? And you see Man City chasing Harry Kane, £100 million bid apparently. You see them interested in Jack Grealish. They're going to spend. You see them removing people like Sergio Aguero. You see ruthlessness and aggression in the transfer market, and that's from the team that we're not even close to yet. What do I see from United? Hesitancy and empathy. Ruthlessness is removing that deadwood and saying thank you very much and slamming the door. Aggression is going and getting these deals done quickly and making sure that you give your manager and your fan base enough focus, time and enthusiasm to actually potentially improve. And I see a situation that I saw under Mourinho where we get second place, and instead of aiming for first, we stand still and everyone comes from behind. And you know Liverpool are going to come hard, and you know Chelsea are going to come hard. Now, I don't know whether I don't actually know if anyone else will get near us. I mean, look, Leicester potentially made 2 good signings, but I think Liverpool and Chelsea are just going to move past us unless we can really start to motor in relation to what we're going to do. What do you think about Kingsley Coman, says Takunda? I think he's a good player, but I think it's irrelevant. Because we will get Jadon Sancho, so therefore we won't bother with that. The time is over for Manchester United. The only thing that can take us back to the top is to remove these owners, otherwise nothing will change, says Saul Goodman. Mark, what do you think about the 210 million Pep has asked for both Kane and Haaland, says Crazy Troller. You are a crazy troller, because you would never need that. You would never need to get both of those players. Any news on Ramos, says Mohamed Afan? Well, we spoke briefly about Ramos at the start. The story hasn't changed there. His best offer is PSG, and if that breaks down, then maybe there's a Premier League move. But I really don't see. I want Ramos to go to PSG. I really do, because then I think it helps United. But look, if that's true, what we were talking about a few minutes ago, that you've got Varane in a situation where he might run his contract down, then obviously that becomes quite difficult. Why haven't City gone out and got their players also who have Chelsea signed? They struggled to get in the top 4. You'd think they would have got the signings done early then, says Ian Reid. Ian, I cannot believe that you would say that. I cannot believe that you would come out on a public forum and basically say, why are people criticising United for doing no business when Man City and Chelsea haven't done any yet? Are you really going to put Man United into the same category as Chelsea and City? Do I really need to explain? Like, of course, the transfer window is open till August. And of course, there can be delays. But Man City and Chelsea are ahead of us, mate. Man City, for years, have been better in the market. For years, Chelsea have been better in the market. Man City just won the Premier League and lost the Champions League final and won the Carabao Cup. Chelsea just went from nowhere to top 4 and won the Champions League. They're already ahead of us. What are you saying? Oh, it doesn't matter that United have done no transfer activity because Chelsea and Man City haven't done any yet. Like we're on a level playing field. The whole point of trying to catch those clubs is to do things they're not doing, to be more efficient, to be better. You can't sit there and go, well, Man City and Liverpool and Chelsea, they haven't bought any players yet, so why should we? Because we're trying to play catch-up. And actually, Liverpool have brought a player already, haven't they? Because they've got Konate. And yeah, as Asif said as well, Man City and Chelsea have already got crazy squads. Man City's bench is better than our first team. Chelsea's bench could probably beat our first team as well. So they're already in a position of strength. I don't think you can defend United's transfer strategy and policy is not defendable until it proves otherwise. And I personally think that they weren't prepared. And I think that if they were prepared, then they would have done things in June that they've not done. Why have we not got rid of Matic? Why have we not got rid of Mata? Why have we not made the decision on Lingard and Dalot? Why are the goalkeeper situations unresolved? Well, okay, they're in the Euros, I'll let that off. But there's lots of things we could have done, and we haven't done yet. And I just think we're close, but no cigar at the moment on quite a lot of things. Mark, what if Ollie thinks the midfield is fine, which makes him think Trippier is more important? Well, Rahul, that's always a possibility. Kurt Miners is off to Atalanta, says Mohammed. Our board is incompetent, says Ihab. Thoughts on Torres progress rumours, says Joshua. Spoke about it last night. There's a video on it last night. Don't want to repeat myself. We need to get Grealish if Pogba leaves. He's a Gaza-esque one of us. I really hope Grealish plays for England tonight. I mean, look, from a Man United point of view, forget about it. United aren't going to do anything in relation to Jack Grealish. I wish we would, but I'm looking forward to watching him tonight. Any news on Hannibal getting into the first team, says Dan Iesta. I would love to see Hannibal getting into the first team, but riddle me this. How does Hannibal even make the bench if you keep Juan Mata, Dan James, Jesse Lingard? This is what people don't figure. Oh yeah, we've got great players coming through. We've got Hannibal, we've got Show Retire, we've got so much talent. Yeah, but you know what? They've got to get through that deadwood that is going to be sat on our bench next season just to get on the bench. Because as we know, Ollie's got his favourites and he won't use these youngsters whilst he's got them. United's transfers policy is actually similar to its owners, useless, says Dontino. And any progress on the CDM crisis, says Nanda. No, and I think there was somebody who just said that there. The CDM crisis is a crisis, of course it is. But it's only a crisis for those people who feel that we want a centre defensive midfielder. Maybe Solskjaer doesn't. Maybe he feels that Fred and McTominay and that's enough. That's all he needs. Axel Twansebi will not be starting this season, Ryan. He wants out. He wants a loan move. So, yeah, I don't think he will be going anywhere at all. Anarud says he does look like a tank. Saw his clip. He's a bulldozer. I think he's talking about this Aloha Dieng, who I don't think we're even looking at. But there you go. I think we'd look at any CDM at the moment, wouldn't we? Because most CDMs are going to be better than what we can offer. Please smash a like on the video, by the way, if you're watching. We're nearly at 1,000 likes. Matic can play every match, but if you were United... you know what, Lee? I actually had somebody yesterday on social media. I can't remember the exact words because I laughed at it and just carried on. And it was something along the lines of, oh, this Goldbridge is such a bloody idiot, writing off Nemanja Matic. And I'm like, I'm all for opinion, but writing off Nemanja Matic, have I written Matic off or has he written himself off? Where was he last year? He was a really important player for us in the season before, but where was he last year? It says everything about how written off you are when you can't start as our only senior CDM ahead of Matic, McTominay and Fred. So I don't need to write Matic off. He's written himself off because he was our best CDM, and then last season Ollie would rather pick McFred. That shows you how finished Matic is. And yeah, we saw glimpses towards the end of the season where he had a good hour or a good first half. He just can't play 90 minutes, and he definitely can't play 2 games in a week. So I am writing him off, because you know why I'm writing him off? Because this is Manchester United, mate. This is Manchester United. Brian Robson, Roy Keane, Michael Carrick, 40, 50, 60 games a season. This ain't Matic doing half a game every month. Forget that. This is Manchester United. You need players who can play every game. If Matic was able to play every game, he'd be playing. He's the best CDM we've got. He's not. He's finished. It's as simple as that. Still better than McFred when he's finished, says McNally. But I don't actually think he is. I think he's a better player, but he clearly can't play. I don't think Ollie's got it wrong there, because I don't think Ollie would go. I mean, you remember when Ollie first came into the club, it was Matic, Herrera, Pogba. We did really well. At the end of last season, it was Matic, Pogba, Bruno. We did really well. This season, we've barely seen Matic. Ollie would use Matic. He clearly knows he can't use him. So to keep a player like that on for another season, and it terrifies me that we probably will do it. But I love Matic and I love Mata. I didn't like Matic when we first bought him, but it became very clear to me that he was our best CDM. But they're done. Why would you keep them at the club? They're both done. I can't be arsed with this cheerleading dressing room shit. We've got enough leaders in our dressing room. We don't need ones that can't play. United's transfer policy is actually similar to its owners, absolutely useless, says Don Tino. I'm pretty sure that's a repeat, but there you go. Look at the plan, because we are second half FC. Bring Matic on every second half and boom, says Nicola. You can't have a CDM that comes on in the second half. Your CDM needs to play every game. That's what you need, the CDM. Turf says, what do you think is happening with the Sancho deal? You know what? I'm quite relaxed about the Sancho deal. The only stress I get is from you lot who think it's going to happen in the next few hours or it's close. And, we've had that for 3 weeks now. I'm quite relaxed about the Sancho deal. I'm not happy because I think United have taken too long on it. But I always felt around the 12th of July. I always felt that would be around the time they do it, because new kit, team viewer, marquee signing, But you know what? The honest thing for me, I'll be very happy when United sign Jadon Sancho. But if they try and get a piano out or do something like that, I feel like going up yours, swivel on it. This should have happened. This is last summer's marquee signing, repackaged now. I've told this story before. When I was younger, one of my family members, we were opening presents together, when you have all your family round, and somebody opened this bottle, and you knew it was going to be like wine or something. It was like this Cinzano or Taboo or something like that. It's like a liqueur. And they opened it up and they went, oh, that's really nice. And I went, what's happened to the lid? And when those bottles you can get where they've got like the little attachment there, so you know whether it's been opened or not before. And it was broken away. And then actually when you looked at how much was in it, that much was probably about out. So basically this was a present that somebody got last year that they tasted and thought, I don't really like that, and wrapped it up again. And that's what United are doing with Sancho. It's still a really nice present, but it's basically last year's present. And they're going to repackage it and say, wow, look at what we've done. And, you know, we will be very excited because he's a very good player. But it is last year's transfer this year. And there has to be more than that. And as I've said before, if we sign Sancho but Pogba goes, are we in a better position? I don't necessarily think we are. We get a right winger that we've done without, and we have got a young one coming through in Diallo. So we get a right winger, and Greenwood can play there. We get a right winger, but we lose a midfielder where we're already weak. We've got to do that midfield. It has to be done. Any Martial news? Nothing. Very quiet on Anthony Martial. Yeah, very quiet on Anthony Martial. I think he will be here next season. Yeah. I think Martial will 100% be at Manchester United next season. And 100% is a very dangerous thing to say, but unless he walks into that office and says, I hate it here, I want to go, how are United going to get the time to sell Martial, loan Dan James, loan Twansibi, deal with Delo, Pereira, Matic, Mata, the goalkeeping situation, Jesse Lingard, Phil Jones? That's 10 deals that won't all get done but need resolving. 10 things, and that doesn't even involve signing players. So we've got 10 things to resolve this summer involving players who are already here. And you think we're going to sort an Anthony Martial deal out? I can't see it. Not unless there was some super swap deal or something. Family can be the worst sometimes in regards to that wine story, says AJ Flores. Well, it is a little bit like the Glazers, isn't it? You can have a shout out, yes, S. Marani. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe, everybody. Matic is not finished, says Dylan Duffy. Well, Dylan, that's absolutely fine. You know, I respect that. But I'd like you to tell me why he's not finished. Why didn't he play all last season then? Why can't he play 2 games a week? He's finished, mate. In my mind, he's finished. In your mind, he's not. But he's finished because a centre defensive midfielder, like a centre-back pairing, needs to play most of your games. You can't have a CDM that can't play games. So he's finished. He's not capable to do the job. It's like having a thoroughbred horse that can win your races, right? But they can only race once every 5 weeks. Well, you're not going to be able to race that. You're not good enough to me then, are you? You know, this isn't an exhibition. This is a competition. So Matic is finished in my mind. He needs to go and play for Mourinho in Roma. Slow league. That's what he needs, and he'll be fine. Absolutely fine. As Carlton says, in a slower league, he's not finished. Enjoying the questions actually this morning. McTominay is Carrick, Fred is Keane. I'm not even going to shout out who said that because I don't think it's fair for you to get the shit. Martial needs to stay to challenge Rashford, says Jay. And Dylan says, sorry, Mark. Okay, Matic is finished. Don't change your mind, Dylan, like that. Have courage in your convictions. There's nothing wrong with saying he's not finished. I'm just saying, you know, opinion against opinion. That's fine. Apparently, Lazio want Pereira. It'll be another loan, mate. We need to get some money for these players. That's what we need. Lee Grant hasn't retired, Jason. We're negotiating with Lee Grant and Juan Mata for new deals, apparently. And Nan Dakishar says, I'd give up Pogba. Don't think he is enjoying his time at United anymore after watching him play for France. Signing someone more enthusiastic will be better for us. Well, here we go then. Let's just do this as a live chat. And if you're not watching live, you can do it. Let's just do a predictor. Will Paul Pogba be at Manchester United next season? Not next summer, next season. Will Paul Pogba be a Manchester United player for next season? I'm not going to say August because he could go at the end of August, but in September, October, will Paul Pogba be wearing a Manchester United shirt? And actually, you know what? My prediction is yes, but he won't be the year after. I think he's running that contract down, and I've always said that. And United need to be wary of that. Paul Pogba is not in a rush. He's not in a rush. And United almost need to give him a bit of a rush because he's not in a rush. And Varane's not in a rush. Varane could be a Real Madrid player next season, but not the season after. Same with Mbappe at PSG. Same with Lingard at United. These players might just go, you know what? I'm doing me. I'm in for me. I'm going to stay here for another year. And then next summer, I'm going to be loaded. So, yeah. He'll run it down is what I think. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. The order of play today is that we'll probably do a show at 6 o'clock because it's England tonight at 8 o'clock. So That watch along will be on That's Football, of course. So thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like, subscribe. Remember, United Stand picks, link in the video description. 12 questions, £1,000 cash prize pot. Answer the questions. If you get them right and you get to the top of the leaderboard, you will share that cash prize pot of £1,000. You've got to be over 18. Questions will be like, will Harry Kane score? There's a live leaderboard once the game kicks off. Link in the video description. If you've downloaded United Stand picks before for United games last season, you may as well play it because it's free. If you haven't, links in the video description, as are the terms and conditions. And you must be over 18 because we're giving away cash prizes. Links in the video description for that. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you a little bit later.